right, Timothy?
What's up? How's it going? All right?
Yeah, ticking along, man, ticking along.
Let me
Welcome to
change
Mad.
the last one.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Sorry.
Welcome to Mad Times Films. I'm James Plumb, filmmaker, sexual astronaut, and as ever, I'm joined by my radical co-host,
James Morrissey, filmmaker, aka Angry Jim. Yes.
And this week, as ever, we're campaigning for a forgotten masterpiece of genre cinema to be given the Blu Ray treatment. This week is my choice, so we're looking back at 1990s, which, hey, 30 years ago, Jim. You feeling old? 1990s Prayer of the Rollerboys, directed by Rick King, a video shop classic starring Corey Haim and Patricia Arquette. So I'll do a quick synopsis. In a dystopian near future, a young man infiltrates a powerful drug-dealing, rollerblading youth gang that runs his town to end their reign for good. So Jim, first time watch?
I kind of remember this, like it's been a while since I watched this film, so it was nice to go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
I just love how that era depicts the future as this Duran Duran music video. Like that's how they envision, the end of the world to be. I really, I enjoyed it. It's gimmicky, stylish for the time, I guess. Like that's kind of futuristic punk kind of vibe going on. So
hint to the color scheme and everything as well. They had
that's sun-kissed LA kind of grade. Some good music. I think is it Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails appeared on the soundtrack for this film as well. So that was quite cool. Yeah, so a really good, cool, dated but cool, funky kind of film. And I thought Corey was Corey in this, doing his Corey Haim thing.
For me, this is peak Haim. This is before. This is like, he's old enough now that he's got a bit of experience under his belt. I think he started to get good with Lost Boys and then kind of got better before the drugs took hold. So I think this is, I'm sure he was on something, but it's not wrecked his life just yet. So for me, this is peak.
He still looked about 12. He was one of those guys who would always looked about 12 years old until obviously the drugs started to take hold of him. But
looked a bit like Skeletor.
Yeah, definitely. No, I enjoyed it. It kind of brought a lot of other films to mind whilst watching it. And I think we're probably going to touch upon this, but the writer, director had a big film in their catalog, which they seem to have a theme. They seem to have a favorite kind of story to tell. Old friends, one is good, one is bad. They kind of come together. There's trust and loyalty issues, and then it all leads to a big climactic end. Yeah. So that was definitely heavy. That was heavily laid out in this film, but I didn't mind it. I mean, this is pre.
So go on. What were the films? What were the films that?
Well, the main film I'm referring to is Point Break. So this film is very similar to that, just a different setting. Yeah. But they seem to like that kind of like old school, friends coming together or like a great friendship. Yeah. But like I said, one is good, one is bad, and that conflict. And it seems to be then amongst some type of sport, whether it be surfing or rollerblading. Gangs, all that kind of criminality, good guy, bad guy kind of stuff. So I kind of, that was evident, but I enjoyed it. Different setting, but nevertheless, same kind of story.
I think, like you, mate, I love those 90s dystopian, post-apocalyptic kind of films where, I mean, this one wasn't post-apocalyptic. This seemed to be just pre-apocalyptic or maybe mid-apocalyptic, So it was pretty much lawless. You had, I love this vision of like this gang of rollerbladers of all things, kind of just running the streets. Mate, that.
I love that.
I mean, I remember that from the trailer. I mean, I watched this as a kid.
Yeah.
But the thing that made me want to watch it was the trailer on the video, and it was like them doing that in the underground car park, intercut with the other scenes from the film. I was just like, I don't know what this is, but I want to watch it.
Yeah.
I love all of that stuff. And there was a weird trend, like through the 70s, 80s, and 90s of these rollerblading futuristic movies. I mean, what was so futuristic about rollerblades? So you had like Rollerball, in the 70s. Then in the 80s, you had Solar Baby, Solar Babies, aka Solar Warriors, as it was known in the UK, which had Haim's co-stars. So it had Jason Patricks and Jamie Gertz in it as well. Which again was like this 80, I think it was just before Lost Boys, so like 86. And again, that was full post-apocalyptic rollerbladers. And then Prayer of the Rollerboys. So I don't know what it is in the heads of these guys that kind of went.
I think they're just trying to take what is cool at the time, and then always in the end of the world cool too, and then smash it all together, which is cool, I guess. And I think that is the word for this film, is just cool. Now again, it looks dated. But I enjoyed it.
In a retro way, I think we can appreciate it now. You've got the fashions of Patricia Arquette, a very 90s.
Fuck yeah. She went from all these costumes. She was just shit like Woody from Toy Story at one point during the film. I think I put that on my notes, actually. She was really, it was like, what am I wearing today? Well, let's just dress you up as a fucking...
I mean, I love Patricia Arquette. I mean, this was a couple of years after Dream Warriors, and it was before she kind of really established herself as an actress, I'd say. She hasn't got a huge amount to do in this film, but I love Patricia Arquette. I could watch her in anything. She was likable. You kind of cared whether she lived or died, which I think, to be honest, that was pretty much all that was required from her in the film, to be honest. Whether they could trust her or not, I guess, but it was Patricia Arquette. You always knew you could trust Patricia Arquette.
Definitely picked up on the racist vibe.
White supremacists on rollerblades.
Yeah, didn't they kind of regard themselves as the white army? As well,
and the color scheme was very like Hitler Youth-esque.
Did you know? So, there's a lot going on. So definitely. Did I hear terms like the final solution in the film as well? So they're definitely playing up on that kind of.
I thought it was a great visual. Youth. I thought it was amazing visual. Obviously, they had those long coats, which then looked amazing when they were rollerblading along. All of that, like the Hitler Youth, you could believe why all these kids wanted to join it, because they were, better off as part of this drug dealing gang or whatever. So that was quite appealing to all these kids who, basically were orphans and, without families and stuff like that. Yeah. So all of that stuff really well thought out. And as you say, combine that with the kind of like, going undercover, infiltrating a gang plot. It kept you gripped. I didn't think there was a lot of fat on this film. I was, on board for it for the whole runtime of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I kind of like that nationalist, pro-America, Trump-esque. But also like it's not let's blame the Jews, it's let's blame our parents for this terrible future which we now have, and all
the
that
generation before they
and it
there was that speech at the beginning, wasn't there, like this big monologue, the kid who I thought what was his name, Chris Collette, so like, the main baddie. I thought he was charismatic, he was good.
He did all right,
I love the bits where it was him and Corey Haim kind of like reminiscing from when they were kids and stuff like that. I thought that was a great little bond. So I think similar to Keanu Reeves in Point Break, where he's he kind of falls in love with the idea of the gang before then actually seeing what the negatives are, if you see what I mean. So
and I think Point Break was definitely done better, a lot better than this. But again, this film has a lot of charm.
But it didn't take place in like futuristic America. That points to Prayer of the Rollerboys for that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a good film. I enjoyed it. It was nice to it was a good retro film, wasn't it? It was a good kind of like going back,
exactly,
and, digging out a classic. Definitely.
I mean, again, I think Corey Haim, like great performer. I mean, as a kid of the 80s, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman were pretty much in 90% of the stuff I watched as a kid. So I loved it when they like teamed up together and stuff like License to Drive or Lost Boys, obviously, Dream a Little Dream. But you know what? When they were kind of separate, they were almost better actors, because I think when they were together, they kind of fell into this like jokey camaraderie thing.
It was an expectation, wasn't it? Yeah.
Whereas I think when they were like in their films individually, they were they actually kind of strove to be better actors or whatever. And Corey Haim in this does a really good job. He's likable. You actually care what happens to him and his kid brother. All that kind of stuff. I completely bought into it. So yeah.
Also, fair play.
Go on, mate. Yeah.
No, I say also fair play to Corey Haim to manage to have a different hairstyle in every scene.
mate, you know,
Let's not,
I'm gonna go.
yeah. Let's not just overlook that. In fact, that's in bold writing on my notes.
Nice.
Definitely took me by surprise, the effort and the ability to change hairstyles. But that's how cool this film was, I guess.
I mean, it was like late 80s, early 90s, so maybe it was the hairspray. You know, they weren't so worried about those greenhouse gases back then.
Yeah, he really had a lot in there. I don't know what it was, mate. Putty, wax, gel, all of the above, but he was holding very good. Just like his acting in the film, it held well.
Cool. Right, Jim. So, which Blu-ray labels are we going to be hitting up and saying, guys, you've got a gap in the market? What are you going to release? So,
well, I was looking at, so Lionsgate have films like, and this is one of my kind of, if you like this film, watch this film. So they have films like Class of 1999. So I think that's one of my the films. Arrow, I think 88 might want to dig on this bad boy. I kind of hope there's a lot of extras they could do for this film. I wouldn't mind digging a little deeper about this film and getting into that whole kind of
right. I think an interview
that
like the director, writer, you know,
yeah,
back and look at like maybe that whole body of work, including
definitely.
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed to watch that. Shout Factory, they got some cool sci-fi films like Mad Max and Cyborg, one of the best ever sci-fi films ever made.
Cyborg, good. Yeah, like that.
Yeah. So yeah, films like
cool.
Yeah, those labels.
I'd say 88 films. You know, they're a big fan of 90s stuff. I know a couple of guys, producers who've released other 90s stuff. So yeah, I think they'd be good, well placed. 101 films as well. They've recently put out some great like 90s futuristic stuff, like Rutger Hauer's Split Second. So it'll be fun to see them, put together a nice package. Same thing as you, mate. I think there could be some really good extras for this. Looking at the story, the plot, how that came together. Also looking at, the production design, some really nice touches on that. And also having a look, maybe like a retrospective on Corey Haim as well,
definitely. Yeah. No, there's a lot of scope, isn't there? There's a lot of scope there.
I mean, the problem with Corey Haim is he became a bit of a punchline, didn't he? Like I remember in the late 90s reading that he was selling his wisdom teeth online for crack. And he's always kind of been tainted by that because then he passed away in the early 2000s, I think, or late 2000s. I think that it's time to kind of have a look at like his body of work and actually kind of say, you know what, he did some good stuff, and as a kid of the 80s, that's how I remember him.
But there's a reason why he was well known, wasn't he? It wasn't just he was a good actor, a good child actor, but then a good actor just fell on bad times, I guess. It'd be cool.
All right, so Jim, if people dug this movie and they want to kind of continue on this road, what would you suggest they check out?
Well, there's like I just touched on. So Class of 1999 is one that popped in my brain whilst watching this film.
Cool.
Jim touched on a few earlier, different kind of gang kind of films, almost futuristic. So films like The Warriors, you might want to dig out.
Yeah, nice. Like that.
Some skating in there, some funky costumes, gangs, all that kind of stuff. Point Break. Rick King's got a couple of films like Kickboxer 3. And he did a film actually I've not watched, but it come up with Mario Van Peebles and Pele, the great Brazilian footballer. So and that was Hot Shot. Hot Shot is called, So
I'm going to check that out too.
Definitely.
Cool. I'll go with Solar Babies, aka Solar Warriors, as it was known in the UK. Seriously, guys. And I found out, I didn't even know this had been released in this country, so I was thinking, this would be a great future episode. No, our friends at 101 Films have actually put it out on Blu Ray. And just prior to recording this, I've just ordered it, so I can't wait. I can't wait for that to turn up. Yeah, I just remember loving it. It's like proper post-apocalyptic. It's almost Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome-esque, but with rollerblading. So
yeah.
No, looking forward to that. And then for more Corey Haim round about this time, I'd go with Watchers, based on the Dean Koontz book. So, Jim, do you remember Watchers?
I don't want this thing in the woods, the spaceship in the woods.
No. This is like a dog's been psychically like connected to this monster.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was the original Watchers, which is great, with Corey Haim, and then there was Watchers 2 with I think Mark Singer from Beastmaster. And I remember pretty much it's like Watchers 1 but with shotguns, which was the great thing they used to do in like the in the 80s and the 90s. They do a sequel of a popular film but add shotguns. So it's like Phantasm, and then Phantasm Phantasm 2 with shotguns.
Yeah.
So yeah, check out Watchers for great Corey Haim.
I remember that one.
Yeah, really good. I don't
It
know.
was just the beginning of that. There was a whole scene in the woods with the dog running and the monster and all that kind of stuff. Was it? Yeah.
Mate. I mean, again, I haven't seen this since my vid shop days, but I remember
yeah.
loving it. So again, I don't know whether that's been re-released. I'm going to check it out, and if it is, I'll put a link down below. There we go. Okay. So guys, if you dug this film, let us know in the comments. If you agree with what we were saying, and if you think Corey Haim is a talentless hack, then shame on you. But also, let us know in the comments. Any other films you think we should check out, let us know, and we will, make that a special episode all about you. And then, Jim, take us away.
All right, then. So if you like this video, then please hit the like button. If you've been enjoying the Mad Science content, then why not subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook. If you have any comments or suggestions, then leave those in the comment section down below. We really want those comments and
if
suggestions.
If you want to give Jim a new nickname, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I'm up for that. So thank you and goodbye.